Alright, that dunga se digi tuya da ni dunga se ge donda ane sim anzo zo samlo juwa ta yu thone ane digi tuya de dingi dewa tarba de samji kimi tuya de ne samlo ta yu thone anzo tubu sim juwa ta je dunga se de sim juwe zo sim juwa ta yu thone tubu re di za dang zo ge sim juwa ta se di nyomo berik sem 아주 동아용야기 삼로디게 봐 가야다 아주 디기주에 라신이가래 디기주에게 삼로디 아주 로장고야래 사실 로아 디네인자 아주기 디기용야기 로 자에게 쪼어디다 셈제 탐지기 또 나사요고 봐 투비치도 근데 로자에 가르스네 자주 셈세 쪼어디리에스 자주 셈 심비도네 아주 기주주 보고 제가 자주 셈 보고 이네 자당아주 장주심 로창외 림바 장주심기 로디 아주 글람 마게바 게바제 게와이나 야권이 공도 폐게디 곰 장고에서 다디고랑아주다 장주심 로창외 고다 장주심이 고렇게 신주 아주 전주 첨번아디 고로 슈고르 바당도
Good evening. So all of us, we want to achieve a state of lasting, stable happiness, state where we never experience even a moment of pain or difficulty. To achieve such a state, in brief, we need to transform our mind. We need to transform our mind both in the sense of eliminating suffering and its causes, so turn our mind away from the afflictions, and we need to transform our mind also in the opposing sense of cultivating the virtuous ways of thinking, strengthening them. And amongst the many virtuous ways of thinking, the determination to become a Buddha so as to lead all sentient beings to a state of enlightenment themselves, a state where they too will abide in lasting happiness free from suffering. This is the supreme virtuous mind. So in order to cultivate such a mind, we are engaging in the study and reflection on this text, the engaging in the Bodhisattva's way of life. And whatever minds of love and compassion and aspiration for bodhicitta we already have, here we should look to develop this further and further.
당보 전주심기 편연디 연대디 파 편연시제 전주심기 뉴버스야의 편연 딘딘 요래서 시에도 전주심기 편연 통원에 안티다 어디디 간줄 냠는 제고도와 아줄기 지 공고도와 선비기 당아주 딘바 니치게 야 제다 딘바 권의 공도 폐기 치도 아니 거 전주심기 당아주 편연디 시고 그생 중앙도 다 전주리우 당보디 전주심기 편연디 시고다 어디 딘마고 소로와 송거와 슈거와 다 편연디 걸래.
To achieve bodhicitta, uncontrived bodhicitta, one has to train one's mind, cultivating bodhicitta within. In order to train one's mind sufficiently to generate uncontrived bodhicitta, one first has to have the aspiration to cultivate bodhicitta. And in order to generate a sincere, heartfelt aspiration to become a bodhisattva, to generate bodhicitta within, one has to hear and reflect deeply on the benefits of bodhicitta, because independence on to the extent that we recognize the benefits of bodhicitta, deep within will arise a yearning to generate bodhicitta itself. To the extent that we recognize how transformative it would be to be a bodhisattva, to that extent we will strive to cultivate bodhicitta. Hence, we are looking at the outset of the text at the benefits of bodhicitta.
코와디 파시 디규인데 디디 강아디네 요래서 제사다 델레 깨바이네 강아디네 요 델레 둥아디네 요래서 델레 탈고 고래서 아직 당보 규인디 파 직세우를 돼 대도야도 다 델레 다 델레 강아도와 델레 탈고 고도 선비에 삼을래도 다 타야게 탑람 가래서는 탑람 디디 공부래 새벽에 온두스네 손에 손타 지금 거로와다 나야 직리야 당보 규인 마셔제 디니 연대의 시제 델레 디는 연대된데 되는서 디 제후 되는 연대되는 용고를 해야지 마 연대인죄도 송어도 되는 연대 통해도 어다딩아 토고도 선배 돈 얘기도 다 토야리 안 가서 지역을 해서 삼나두스네 탑시 탑런되는 지역을 해야지 송단이 용고로 와 지자당한 저기 람림나려야 기부 중화다 징다 되네게 지도 녀레 코위기 나송의 둥아디게 직냐와다 징나소 숨녀외 이다 눈로 미 둥아디게 마시고도 송도와 되네 송년 몽어저지네 되네 지네 안 디탑람 가래스네 델라는 지금 예정 자셈 도시로 공부를 해서 탑람 송고로 다디 니링 가서 가르쳐서 제장 가서 장주심 냠는지 장주심 가서 그래 기고고래 제자다 장주심 마게나 되네 요래서니까 동아데 마셔봤지 장주심 연된 되네 쇼래서 장주심는 연된 되네 쇼 당아서 강아 가르치나 디버사와는 장주심 곰는 세투부래 산조고방 토베나 장주심 곰는 톱투구래 능아도 개화에서 누보 공부했다는데 장주심이 톱투고서 장주심이 연된되기 봐시는데 당아도 장주심이 연된데 봐 돈돈이죠 다 연된 디딩아 토고도 장주심 세대 냠는 맞은 타면 장주심 얘기를 깨고도 선비 눈버 잡보다 되네게 직셈 휴게어도 되네 제일이야 장주심 토비야기 탑람 냠는 제대 송고로 와다 되네 자당아도 장주심이 연된 편연서 연된 두시네 시에디 송고로 와다 도나 송고해도 김전들이다 아주 그래 돈얘기 눈버게야기 어떤 저 셈슈게야기 돈다 송고로 와
When presenting the stages in which to train one's mind, there are two approaches that can be taken. The one approach is to first focus on the faults of one's current situation. For example, if we the one approach, as we see outlined in the Lamaram, will be first to present the suffering of the lower realms, the suffering that potentially awaits us in our very next life, the suffering that is already being experienced by many beings and we may well experience ourselves again. And thereafter comes the presentation on the sufferings of the higher realms, and thereby coming to recognize the sufferings that bind us, that we are bound to as long as we remain in the realms of samsara, leading to the determination arising to gain freedom from this prison of pain, this prison of suffering, and thereby generate definite emergence. This is one approach. The second approach is to, instead of starting out at looking at the faults, but to look at the benefits. What would be the benefits to attain liberation? What would it be like to be free? And thereby one generates the aspiration for definite emergence. Here in our text, it's taking the second of these two approaches. The text doesn't start with the first approach of presenting the faults of not generating bodhicitta, the faults of not being a bodhisattva. Rather, takes the second approach by focusing on the benefits of having bodhicitta. What would it be like to be a bodhisattva? How would it be to have such a remarkable mind? How would it be, having generated bodhicitta and be able to purify such vast amounts of non-virtue, accumulate unsurpassable amounts of virtue, and be of greatest benefit to all kind mother sentient beings? This is the approach that Shantideva is taking in the Bodhisattva's way of life. Whichever approach the practitioner takes, the goal is the same: to develop a deep inner strength, a confidence and a conviction based on yearning. I have to become a bodhisattva.
Dine zada nganzo kisi bardo janshu semgi ane penyendi maashu. Dine jidane da janshu semgi penyendi dine yorasi kisi gongla ya shugyo di dusu suma shubarwa. Dine janshu semdela ngo yewi ngoyo gone yawa na da yawa de ni yore se de mamba semge de juba se ni yore se yawa ni de keche yawa ni she yawa ni ge khabar karasen di yu ba shu sa re nan de ne anda diring mamba semge gi ane ji phayan kan de shore da juba semge gi phayan kan de shore mamba semge da juba semge ni de phayan su chi ge ore se ji di gor ma shu ya de da.
Understanding then the approach that Shantideva is taking, we will continue now in the text, this first chapter, which presents the remarkable benefits of bodhicitta. So last week, we looked at, if we divide bodhicitta by way of its entity, there are two, aspiring and engaging bodhicitta. Now tonight, we'll come to look at the benefits of aspiring and engaging bodhicitta, as well as comparing which of these two remarkable minds, which produces the greater benefits.
That's it. Janchu Mumbi Semleni, Korse Jibu Chejuyang, and Jidaru Jubi Simjindu, Senam Juncha, Juma means.
The 17th verse. From the mind that aspires for enlightenment, immense results arise for those still in samsara. Yet, unlike the mind that engages in enlightenment, merit does not continuously arise from it.
Janchu Mumbi Semni, Siduda, Manzuki, that Janchu Sem, Member Semke, Siduda, Jubigi, Judum Malomba, Jubi, Juba Simki, Tumba, Malemba, Nekapki, Maleng, Mungi, Janchu Sem, the Member Semke, Setila Warda, Chidan, the Negi Member Semke, Juba Simki, Tumba, Malchusim, Tumba, Mashibi, Mungi, that Mungi, Janchu Sem, the Member Semke, Tela, and Yunting and Sure, Seneda, the Negi. Janchu Mumbi Semni, Yunaka Yores, and a quantitative church said that Yundi and the Koviki Negapsu, the Korwana, Korea Negasu, and the Jiggy, the Niki members in your combi table, Karayungura Senanga, Jiggy Yawachima, the Ceti in a Jikisiaman Shuban Ceti in a Rang, Anti Ludia, Rang Kiwa, and Shelley, Pemba, Rashiniga, Devo, Devo Combia. Janchu Sem Gomba na the negative digi ya de yawa chima na hada miu go top den dele ya and jigi ponson so bo ya ge devo den syong ores da the negative dele kyachawa se de course de chil jung ya de chenbo se de ya chenbo se de da Janchu Sem Gombe to bi and jigi nga mili ke ba na mi and jigi benjo chenbo wang da chenbo nyuba chenbo da nyema ne gebo Yebu Tiansan, Yebu Mero, Yebu Denigi, Yebu Digi, Bemas Denigi, Yebola Sobe, Corpusum Sopada, Lonju Punsun Sopa, and the Jigi, Denigi, Wangtan Chembo, and Shelia, and Jigi, Pendo, Jachembo, Rutugangi, and the Gebuki Gewalemba, Jebu Denisungo, Sada, and Dimase, and the Jigi, Halakeba Inayang, Lei Ungboy, Jachena, Sambala Sobegi, Denigi, and Jigi. Tuyagi, and the Nick gave another Jiggy Lonju Punsun Soba, the Cor Punsun Soba, and Shelia Pemba, must get him to Tuyagi, on Denis Yungores, the Niggy, Mumba Semki Gombala, Dene, they would in Yungore, said, Corset, they would Che Jung said, they would get him to Che, they would Che said, get him Lagore, Kovi, Negapsu, and the new Kovi, they would the Niggy, get him Yungore, said.
From the mind that aspires for enlightenment. So here we see in the first line that of the two, when bodhicitta is divided by way of entity, there are two. Now we're looking at the one that is first generated, that of aspiring bodhicitta. Bodhicitta has been generated as uncontrived, but the vows either have not been, the bodhisattva vows have either not been received, or if they have been previously received, they have degenerated. And therefore, any activities that are engaged in are not conjoined with the vows, and therefore the mind of bodhicitta is suitable to be called aspiring bodhicitta. So from such a mind, such a remarkable mind as aspiring bodhicitta, what benefits come? And that's briefly presented in the second line. Immense results arise for those still in samsara. These were mentioned, these benefits that will arise are mentioned last week, but to briefly repeat. When one generates uncontrived bodhicitta, even when it's aspiring bodhicitta, not yet engaged bodhicitta, immense benefits comes to yourself and others in this very life. Happiness, mental, physical happiness, as well as the benefit that one can bring to the lives of others in this life is achieved. And not only that, through the causes that one is accumulating, incredible benefits will come to oneself and others in future lives too. Through this powerful virtue, conjoined with powerful purification, one will be certain of attaining good rebirth in future lives as a human or as a god. And born as a human, one will have immense power, influence, and material abundance because of the virtue that the bodhisattva has accumulated. And with this power, influence, and material abundance, they will be able to be of great benefit to others, immense benefits to others in future lives. So in this way, briefly, we can see some of the immense results that will arise for such a bodhisattva, even though they are still in samsara.
Of course, it was church answer dignity. The young city, and the Niki Gachimbo Jewu, Nicoalia, the Niki Jewu, Gachimbo, Janju, members, Janju Sim Combine, the Niki Jewu, Gachimbo, Yungu orders, young Inaya said, and the Karim was a young city. That day, and Jubasim Gen Ashinji Yungo, Maresi, or that young city. Jitter Jubi, Sim Shindu, Sunam Kincha Chua, me said. Jazanda Jitter Jubi, Sim Shindu, said. Jubi Simna, Jubasim Gen Ashingi, and Sunam Gachibodi, Yungo Maresi.
Now, our second line, we see the word still. So we recognize there that whilst this bodhisattva, almost certainly a new bodhisattva, is still in samsara, they experience immeasurable benefits. Then we go to the third line, and it starts with yet unlike. So here we see the comparison being made between the two bodhicittas, aspiring and engaging. So here let's be careful not to deprecate aspiring bodhicitta, but the virtue that it creates is incomparable to the virtue that engaging bodhicitta creates.
Jidar Jubi Sem Shindo, Sunam Kuncha Chuma means Juba Semke and Hanshin, that Juba Semke Sido, Juktum, Juktum Yamsu, Juktum to Lenche, Judah Lembe, Jesu, that Judah Len, Judah Simpi, Janju Sem Nashin, Juba Semke, Jidar Jubi, Len Shimpi, that's Lene, then Judah Len Shimpi, Lene, that Janju Sem Digi, Juba Semke, Nashingi. Denegi, no Sunam Gun Michebadi, Guncha, Gun Mutuche, Gun Machebadi, Jungo Mares, Sunam Guncha, Junga Minsid, Jungo Mares, Jubasim Gen Ajingida, Sunam Gun Mechebadi, Jungo Mares. Singidi, don't that did it.
Looking at the third and the fourth line, yet unlike the mind that engages in enlightenment, merit does not continuously arise from it. Aspiring bodhicitta, which is uncontrived bodhicitta, but the vows either haven't been received or have degenerated, and thereby when activities are engaged in, that virtue, whilst great, is not comparable to what someone with engaging bodhicitta has. Someone who has generated uncontrived bodhicitta and thereafter received the vows, or they had them previously but they were undegenerated, and thereby engaged in various virtuous activities. Here, the mind of engaging bodhicitta accrues far more virtue when compared to aspiring bodhicitta.
Nandala Jubasim Gedam, Jugdum Malembige, Nerabki, Dambo Semge, Mamba Semge, Dina Soda, Mamba Semge Comba Inayan, Jebu Patumia Batiniki Punson Soba, and Jungores, Inayan, Jubi, Judum Len Chane, Lembe Jigi, Janju Sem Nashinchik, and the Sonamji, Yungo Mareshi, Yungo Maret. Like that Judum Len Chane, Judum Tobe, 주버 셈게디 차로도 니 셈게데 누베 쳐와래 평연 쳐와래 내려때네 아니 지 선함 개쳐와 두고 그래서 대지다 이제는 니네 인자다 된다라 지다 전슈 셈 공바데 평연 빠도 매봐 요래스 이나 죽둠 숭 마숭와체 전슈 셈 공바네 평연 되네 요래데 죽둠 숭네 전슈 셈 공바디 평연 치고래서 that's 숭고르다니.
To summarize the 17th verse then, when one first generates bodhicitta, one is likely to have aspiring bodhicitta. An immense merit will be accumulated, as we see in the first two lines. So this is important to be clear, because one doesn't want to come away with a misunderstanding of deprecating aspiring bodhicitta. But even whilst the merit that is accumulated by a bodhisattva with aspiring bodhicitta, even whilst that merit is immense, it is incomparable to the merit that is accumulated by engaging bodhicitta, which is where the mind of bodhicitta is supported by the bodhisattva vows. And the reason that the merit is so much greater is because of the strength of mind that has been generated in order to receive the vows and having received the vows. And due to the greater strength of mind, greater benefit will follow.
Dini inzada memba semge dan domba malimbi negabye janju semge nyuba dan da len tsaiwi ki chege janju semge nyuba yidi da dene ki kyabar yores chizen kyabar yoba za dondala karsung worosem da du sine janju jubi chige judum lenje nyamlen che kugure so sungor da ma deshi nyele ya janju semge pan ma she janju semge dene chi yores dene ki semshu geje janju semge go domba nyamlen je le da janju semge chawa inaya janju sem domba sungmen da domba sungure domba sungne pando cheyo nyuba cheyo dene yores da di yaji duschene sungor da la judum shuje nyamlen je ko yadi je kugure sungor shule da la.
The purpose for knowing this is we've heard many benefits of generating bodhicitta, so some aspiration will have arisen within us to generate bodhicitta. And here we've been given the knowledge, and when we are counted amongst the bodhisattvas, whilst this is remarkable and of such immeasurable benefit, we must quickly seek out the bodhisattva vows, receive them, because by doing so, the strength of our mind of bodhicitta will grow so, and thereby our beneficial impacts on others and our merit will be so much greater.
Mamba semje se di nganzulia sanjo kopon toba jigin sembe toba sho sembe mamba tsamre mato sanjo kopon toba gi chirdu jubi gi jenju sembe jubi nyamlen jawa la ngoso jawa jigo mari tomba shuji jawa koma zuba dila an lagres dinada tomba shuine ngoso tomba shuji jawa juba nyamlen jawa jigin se tomba shuine shuba na dela ya an jig juba semje res bele sha de nganzo yuji le dragi michi le mini she jigdi na yuji le druin sembe ge samlo jie chen du chen ne kangba na due ji drui ge ja ma ji be ne gap jigje na jigdi ko juba sembe se di druin sembe ge samlo dang chan ne ta de droya le ta lam ka le dro shi me ne gap ja wa ji shi me ne gap de juba sembe se gro wa dine za dang ge bele sam da be na bele ba ja wa na jig druin lumba de pa druin sembe sam da jigde ne 되어발에 다 저거래 형 저는 고수고르면 마도는 뭐 지게 저는 뒤서 따달리기 말에 질레티가 다 저셔서 질라야 저러 와다 다 저는 저야기 저와다 저는 다 저는 저셔서 다 저야 고수고레스 만도 고 맞으네 아니 지시고 고 제마람네 아니 따달리고 말에 세비 다 제고레서 저러 안디나진 다 제가 semje tam sanjo ko ba thopra sho samba semji digo marde chesada jugdum lenje jobi nyamlen jawa chene ko zu wo de sanjo ko ba to bola gyoga ta thop thu re se ro da danda dis ngor wa
Last week in the 16th verse an illustration was presented comparing the wish to go somewhere and actually going. So that was the illustration explaining the previous verse, where the difference between aspiring and engaging bodhicitta was presented in the 15th verse, the 16th verse then explained that through this illustration. Aspiring bodhicitta is likened to the wish to arrive at a destination, but one has, whilst a sincere determination to arrive at that destination, one hasn't embarked on the journey. So that's likened to aspiring bodhicitta. Engaging bodhicitta comes about when one has generated this aspiration to arrive at a particular destination and says, I'm going, I'm departing, I must leave now and continue to arrive on this journey to arrive at that destination. So that's the difference, as we saw last week, through the illustration of wishing to go and actually going. That is the difference between aspiring and engaging bodhicitta. And the purpose of that illustration is to give one a sense of urgency, that now, first, a sense of urgency to generate uncontrived bodhicitta, and then, when uncontrived bodhicitta is generated and one is a bodhisattva, not to now relax, resting on one's laurels, but don't delay. Receive those vows, seek them out, receive them, and engage in the life of a bodhisattva.
Dadi juba semji da semji jike sungore gani songje semjen kam taye rabdu jubi chir mido payi semji su semde yada lang gyurpas.
So now coming to the 18th verse. Thank you. Coming to the 18th verse. From when this mind has been genuinely adopted with the intent never to turn away from the aim of completely liberating endless realms of sentient beings.
Adu sine jisan jubi domba lende sungorwa gane sungde semjen kam ane taye rabdu jubi chirse da kunglong la masona da semjen gane sungde du gane sungde janshu domba lemba du tene sungsing ro gane sungde semjen kam sede jidan semjen kam sede jidan ne mangbol juwa jorwa bene karsore su 자 지로 레자데 감죽 세다 감접게 세다 감주지 자니 세다 수저 지로 레자스네 감세데 수저 수단 자 지로 혼돌 고고로 와다 제산디 감세 나데 감세디 한저 셈진 고고래 셈진 감세데 셈진 호로라레 감세데 셈진레 마도 셈진레 로수지요 말에 제산 간에 손제 셈진 감세데 제산 셈진 감 타예바 세데 다 가지레 semjen danda kunlo ro ji ju sim ge da bo kunlo ge de da dirwa janshi sim ge da ga ba semjen taye ba ji rabdu juwi chi se de semjen ni kam ba du me ba taye ba semjen ba du me ba sam da de cha sang dunga ko we dunga le ya ji ni jue ji ya sang ye sal gui yin san bi gi kunlo ro ji di yo re so ro kunlo di ki go ro wa ji de ni ge kunlo ji sang kunlong의 전에 semjen kam tam je semjen kam tamje 지 야체와 타예 봐도 매바 되다 탐지 거의 누가 타달을 되는 산지 고방 야 꾸기 섬제 니체도 안 너무 송고를 해지래 semjen 간에 송제 semje kam 타예럽도 주위 치르세.
In the 18th verse, the order of the Tibetan and English isn't quite the same. So we start with what for us is the last two lines. From the aim of completely liberating endless realms of sentient beings. So Genla first explained the word kam, which has different meanings. One meaning can be the 18 constituents, which would comprise the 6 objects of the senses, the sense powers, and the 6 consciousnesses, the sense consciousnesses, and the mental consciousness. So making 18. But that is not the meaning here. The meaning is a second meaning of the same word, and that is realms of sentient beings. So these first 2 lines, from the aim of completely liberating endless realms of sentient beings. This is the motivation of the Bodhisattva, wanting to guide each and every sentient being without exception, throughout all the varying realms of samsara, however those realms are divided, desire and the subdivisions and form and formless, leading all beings to their own liberation from suffering. This then is the motivation of a bodhisattva.
Bendigo simja tamje kowe dungal le ya san yogo wan tobi chir. De ane simjin tamje san yogo wan matobi bardo ani simjan kowe dungal le ya jawa chigin sempege kunho simja tamje. Bendigo ane mido su se de ne da Gabriel ya jetusa marasa samlo pa mudi majebana doba segurwa 대시 제긴 sembe samlo de 지 mudi majebana doba 와 진짜 미도 봤을 바마 제바 균에 무티제 제 내게 sem전 탐제 상기고 고바 마토비 바동이야 안 sem전 타조 코비 동아를 줘야지 제긴 sembe게 디 자주 sembe게다 sem전의 된체 자주 sembe 줘봐 파로도 심부 줄이야 랍긴 sembe 되네게 sam로디 유아메바 균에 마도가 짜와기네 여기가 소래 바마 체바지 냠스 래기 루스체네 삼로 기고래 제르미도 소시 미도바에 세미스도 셈데 양다 라와 교시 데네게 삼로 토네 안 돈바 팔 자주스미 쮸바 파로도 심을 줄라 랍긴 셈베게 돈바디 링고래 제 켈랑고래 제 양다 라와 교시.
So for what us in English is the third and fourth line, this is establishing the motivation of the Bodhisattva from the aim of completely liberating endless realms of sentient beings. So here the Bodhisattva has the motivation that each and every suffering mother being throughout the realms of samsara, I will ensure that they are guided to achieve their own enlightenment. I will do so. And then the third line, which for us is the second, with the intent never to turn away. So here, the duration of this expression of intent is laid out. The Bodhisattva is promising that until each and every mother sentient being has been led to attain their own enlightenment, I will not turn away from suffering beings. I will never give up on them. I will never give up on them. And this is a commitment that is expressing the duration of their unchanging commitment, that without interruption, without delay, the Bodhisattva commits to continuously striving to guide each and every being, whomever they are, to attain their own enlightenment.
Tandala karisungora sendeji nganzu jubi domba male benyegi mamba semge delabe jewu sonam 첨부 제고 빠면 중국어 때 주버심된 게 용고 말해 주버심 나신 지고 용고 말해 진짜 미용가 가르스는 주버심게 될 누베 체여 유비 김제 가르스는 그 주비 dombalingor 봐 dom바디 유여반사 누베 체와래라 그러와 진짜 다 dom바디 누베 체와 있나 dom바디 개발 가능시여래서네 체주 dom비기 체주도 시고로 돼 길해기 진짜 dom발해야지 다 장주심be dom바 주비 dom바세야지 네 semja 탐지게 되나 상계고 뭐 토보도 semja 탐지 동아 세자 토발라 토보 대장의 전주심에 죄와 바로도 치면 랍기 셈베게 폐렘베게 담자디 데네기 안지게 라미기 둔네 나주게다 초가 된제 전주심바 데네기 지기 돈발 여행이 데네기 안지게 전주심에 죄와 바로도 치면 랍기 셈베게 폐렘베게 담자디 남자 송화들라다 제주심be domba 주비 domba 송화식으로 와다 domba 송화식으로 되네게 domba 셈데 양다 나와 줄세 되네게 남자들 링고래 렘바레스고로다.
As I mentioned in the review earlier in our class tonight, a key difference between aspiring and engaging bodhicitta is the taking, or the making of the bodhisattva promise, making the vows of a bodhisattva. So why is it, so normally in English we'd say you receive the bodhisattva vows, you take the bodhisattva vows, but here to match Geshe, we should rather understand it as one is making the vows of a bodhisattva. And those vows of a bodhisattva are, my aim is to completely liberate endless realms of sentient beings, and I have the intent to never turn away. This is the vow. And these vows that the Bodhisattva makes, an alternative translation for the word vow is the bind or the commitment that the Bodhisattva is making through the ceremony of receiving the vows. This is of great, that this mind that is generated is of such great strength that now the bodhicitta, which is engaging bodhicitta, will accumulate so much more merit. So again, just to make sure I'm expressing this clearly, normally we'd say we receive the bodhisattva vows, but it's better when we're understanding the benefits of taking the bodhisattva vows is to express it as vowing to fulfill the heartfelt expression of the mind of a bodhisattva, vowing to fulfill the intent of a bodhisattva. And that vow, that strength of mind, is what now gives engaging bodhicitta its incredible power.
당한 저게 다 죽돔 세디 주비 돈바 세디 간치 라구리에 세다 ngoro 있네 주비 돈바 세디 셈젠 고치kel 라마치 다 당보 라마치 된파 하는 저게 셈젠 탐제 된다 셈젠 탐제 산조 고방 토부도 지고 군노 셈젠 탐제 코르 동안 산조 고방 토 산이서 고기 대인장에 셈젠 탐제도 묘니와 산기 고방 토부도 왔 지산 토고원자 Nyama Sanjo Kopan Tobge Sangi Digina, Job Paru de Chimuduk Yamlin China Sanjo Kopan Tobare, Dada Janju Semba Digina, Job Paru Janju Semba Papi Janju Semba Digina, Paru de Chimudule, Juba Yamlin Jao, Love Shimbare, Labne Sanjo Kopan Tore. Konjugi Lavana Shin Eja, and the Semja Tam Sanjo Kopan, New and Tobe Chedo, Janju Sembe, Juba Paru de Chimudula, Labin Sembege, Dam Jebe, Kalimbe, Kalinde, Lami Gudune, Deni Choga. 전체제네 켈린베 켈린데라 저 파주도 지금 줄라 랍긴 심베 켈린데라 다 남자 켈린데라 죽돔세 월다 돈바시데 죽돔세 니레다
Let's talk then about the entity of the engaging vows, or the bodhisattva vows. The entity, or what is their very essence, their very meaning, the heart of what these vows are. So here the bodhisattva, who has uncontrived bodhicitta, aspiring bodhicitta in their continuum, before their lama, they have already generated, and now they express with their lama, through the ritual of taking the vows, they generate this determination that I, myself, will lead each and every kind mother sentient being to freedom from suffering. And the freedom from suffering I'll lead them to is to attain their own state of Buddhahood. And in order to do that, I must attain enlightenment myself first. And to do so, I will train in the 6 perfections. I will follow thereby I will follow the example that all the Buddhas have set, because they trained in that way to achieve their own enlightenment so that they could perfectly guide suffering mother beings to enlightenment. And I will also be following the example of all the great bodhisattvas, Arya and ordinary, who are striving for enlightenment now by practicing the 6 perfections. I promise this. I promise to train my mind in the 6 perfections in order to attain enlightenment, in order to lead each and every mother sentient being to freedom from suffering by attaining their own enlightenment. This is a promise I make to you, my Lama. So that promise is that the engaging vows, or you should say the bodhisattva vows. And the promise which is made in this way, in that ceremony, gives the mind of bodhicitta incomparable strength.
난 네 주기 심비 죽sem기 죽돔기 jubu semji domba sedi da dinichi la gora seda di ngoto chedirwa da nganju yangja monba semji monsem ane kasore monsem choge langba se chungurwa monba semji choge langba se janju choge langba choga dyenji zu langba se langba lemba jugdum lemba monsem lemba 세월 무슨 초기 렘바 세데 대야 전시 심비 domba 세지 전시 심비 domba 슈고레 세디 어두스 무슨 초기 렘바 대한 고고레 다 무슨 초기 렘바 세데 가리오르스네 간데시 라고레스네 당아도 심전 이제 잠니제 삼다 심전의 저 코르 동안을 잡아든 이 지긴 삼다제 이 심전 탐지상 요고방 토벌 쇼 심비 삼다와디 전시 심게 받으러와 어디 그 담자 가야 지금 전시 심 토퍼 쇼어선 뭐 몰람 잠지고로와 지금 돈박할 순거 말아. 나 되네게 전주심 되네게 삼다자 즉 초가 되는지 라면 돈 되는 초가 되는지 아니 심제 탐지기는 산지 고방 토퍼 쇼어선 베게 전주심지게 토퍼 쇼어선 전주심게네 되네 전주심디 뒤 남야 마다왕의 냠len 지긴 sembe 켈린 지어와 전주심게 제 된지 전주심디 뒤 남야 마다왕의 냠는 무튼이 지긴 sembe 켈린 지어와 언딜에 무슨 초교송 하시고래 무슨 초교송 하시 제가 지금은 샘제 탐지 산주 고방 토벌쇼 세비기 장슈 샘지 끼기로와 데니게 샘디 뒤 남양의 마곤베 샤기메 무티지도 공긴 샘비 켈린지 여러와 공긴 샘비 담자지 켈린지 여러와 내가 무슨 초교송 하라고 그래 근데 상예처럼 소유점 장주바도 단에 다기 진수제도 졸라 편제 상예 주보를 쇼서 라미파 마간나 라미 구딘 마 지게 장슈 샘비 도시주도 잘 무슨 초교송 와서 그래 대양 전주심비 domba 송화세 비장 책됐던 거 제가 전주심비 domba 송화세 된지미지 domba 송화라이도 죽tum 송화들 고야요 말다 제자다 전주심비 domba 송화세 무슨 초교송화디야 전주심비 domba 송화 최고래 대대대 나중에 셔야지 대대 죽tum 제디 전주심비 domba 제바 바로도 지미 줄 랍긴 심비가 켈린지야디 죽tum제 다 무슨 초교송화세야디 심제 탐지상 고방 토벌쇼 셈베 전주 셈지게 니게 딩이 안뒤 남양 아지게 마탕와지 무튀능이 공기 셈베 켈린 담자들라 다 무슨 초교송 하세요래 대한 전주 셈베 domba 송하세 중고래 제가 딩이 개월 딩이 시험과에 딩 금자로시
There are two sets of Bodhisattva vows. What is usually referred to as Bodhisattva vows will be the engaging vows. The other set is the aspirational vows. So the first set relates to the engaging bodhicitta, and the second to aspiring bodhicitta. So to look at the difference, I'll first repeat the engaging vows, where one generates the determination to lead all sentient beings to a state of enlightenment so that they are freed from suffering, and thereby one must attain enlightenment. So this is the generation of bodhicitta, and then goes further and says, and to do so, I will train in the 6 perfections, just like all the Buddhas did and the Bodhisattvas are. And this is the promise, the vow one makes. So that's the engaging vows. The aspiring vows, this one also can engage in before a lama, and one can do so through a recitation of the what we usually call the refuge prayer, like we did tonight at the start of the teachings. Go refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, through the merit I create from practicing generosity and so forth, I will attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So that's the recitation of that 3 times, following one's lama. Following the recitation of one's lama is the recitation or the taking of the aspirational vows. So what does one mentally do in this ceremony? One generates the determination that I will lead all sentient beings to freedom from suffering, and to do so, and to freedom from suffering, leading them to their own enlightenment. And to do this, I must become a Buddha. So here one generates bodhicitta. And in addition, one promises, this is the aspirational vow, I will practice in accordance with this aspiration, ensuring that the bodhicitta, to the extent that I've generated, it not only will I not let it degenerate, but I will continue to train in bodhicitta, develop my wish to attain enlightenment, my aspiration to attain enlightenment in order to lead all sentient beings from suffering. So that's then the taking of the vows of aspirational bodhicitta. The difference is, with engaging bodhicitta, one goes that little bit further and says, and I will engage in the 6 perfections. That's the additional promise that is made.
Dine janju bardo dane gyapsu chiye su dinge semjen tam sanji goba mato ye bardo gyapsu drugin sembege da gyamdro de shigorwa. Da dine daagi jinso gibe so namgi dola pension dubar sho su de daagi nge jimba dan surimna sebok gombege denegi gebi so tele tula dene delis dine semjen tamji don sanji goba topro sho sembege janju semge ba asaja janju semge ba San Koba Tobo, Niki Kewa Saba de la Tine, in Sim Jentam, San Yokoban Tobo Show, somebody and Sim Jebalo, Sim Jebas, or that the Janju Sim Jebasid. Chisade, San Yuchosoma de Jamro Simki Selo, Chisan Jamro gave you set up and Jamro Che, Dene, and this Sim Jentam Juton San. Kiwi Sawa Dela in the San Yukoban Topo Show, Sim Biggie, Sim Dene San Yukoban Topo Show, some Sim Jabas, Chisadi, Gamdro Simki, setting out to Dinamintis or 60-20 and Dundala, the Samku, some Tanku or Wada. Monsim that they were certain Dilemma that Juba Senor Tanganju that Nanzo Majabas gave a show and big the Juba Simki Domba Toma Kishim Nada. Chizadan Anzugi Chanju Sim Koran Juxum Top Sava and the Monsim Juba Simki Ungurwada, Julian Limera Mambasum Chagruada, Tanganzu Denig Nanzo some daddy, Anzu some daddy, Simki or Martina Topper Show, Simpigum, that's Chikeva, some Simki or Mother, Sim Winning Anzuliki or Marawa. Sim winning kid, you can call in a Judum. Nyamlin je ne judum chade juba sim chade juba donle men mo basim chade wa that thing around to ki wa ngarang to ki garsam da san yu chu ma de kapla na bo ke sum se de ke yu sum de samda de ne ane jaju badu da ne ke su che se binge san ju go ba ma do ba de ke su dugin se be samna du stang go re je de 다기 지속기로 처음에 dollar pension 주버 쇼스도 땅에 진바도 추림도 수비 냠는 두스지 개와 딜라티는 SMG 탐지기든 산유 고바 토버 쇼 선배 삼로 땅고 고레스 델음 셈게 발라고 그래서 딩아나줄 파자 시우도 죽돔 끼셔마 죽가서 주버 셈게 고라요 말아 아즈 뭔가 셈게 바자마도 셈게 호롱 무수 끼고 말아 아즈 길다다
In the verse that we recite at the start of every class, what we usually call the refuge prayer, but really we should think of it as the refuge and bodhicitta prayer. So the first line in the Tibetan refers to the 3 jewels. In English, it's if I remember correctly, the second line. So the first line is to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. So there are the 3 jewels. Hence, the refuge prayer. We turning to the 3 jewels, recognizing that through relying on them, we will be able to develop ourselves and thereby gain protection from suffering through transforming our own minds. So the first line is to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. I go for refuge prayer, until I am enlightened. So because it's enlightenment is specifically mentioned, we know this is in the context of the Mahayana. So therefore, one now starts to, in our case, generate the aspiration for bodhicitta, because we haven't yet generated bodhicitta, whether aspirational or engaging. So we're starting here in this recitation to generate our expression of aspiration to generate bodhicitta by stating, until I attain enlightenment. And then this continues in the next line through practicing, through the practices of generosity and so forth. In other words, the 6 perfections. So here we are expressing that all my activities of generosity, ethics, and so forth, all this merit, I commit to, may it all help me generate bodhicitta for the sake of others. So this is how we utilize this verse for practitioners at our level, where we are aspiring to newly generate bodhicitta. For those who have generated bodhicitta, this verse would be used to strengthen or as part of the practice of aspiring bodhicitta or engaging bodhicitta. But for us, we can relate to the same verse as our aspiration to become bodhisattvas, to newly generate bodhicitta.
Denegi, andang az namgini ane jamro semje se dang az jidane ng tumbade du sam da jiro. Da dene ng jiga mosam chogyo sowa sido yang lamegi duenye ma jigi momba sem mombe choge jone sungin sembigi samlo kunye laje. Dene sanju chodong so chram la du duenje lame kudene Jola pension drupal show, Sibigi, Semjan, San Yukoban, Tobar show, Sembigi, Samloji Semti Geje, Geodune, Gedi, Dunamia, Matonwaje, Dunamia, Mashabaje, Nyamsu Lingi, Sebi, Kalimbi, Kalinchi, some down do, Jamosim Chogo, so Hasi were the la. The Semjan San Yukoban, Tobar shows, Janjuba, Jola pension drupal show, some do, Semjan San Yukoban, Tobar show, some Semji Ge. DK says and get Dunamia and Matonwaji, Maluba, Nyamsu Lingi, Sembige, Samloji, Damjaji, Jayadu, Muslim Chogus on Hasi were there.
So I'd encourage you then, whenever you recite the Refuge in Bodhicitta prayer, whether before teachings or in your own daily practice, reflect in the way that I've just mentioned. And the same verse is also used in the ritual, the ceremony for generating aspiring bodhicitta, where in the presence of one's teacher, you will recite this verse after him. You'll recite it once and you will recite it in return. And in this way, one is making the promise that whatever level of bodhicitta I've generated, I will not allow to degenerate at all, and I will develop it ever further. So in this way, the verse can be utilized in the ceremony or the ritual of aspirational bodhicitta.
Yeah. Now, the show Chason, the only that on the Semja Tamjik to the Sanyo Tober Chi, Dianzangi, and the Cheshimicho Parochimula, Labgin, Sempe, Killing, Tamja, Jubasem Geche, the Kasan and Lama use. Says I denegate Sem the Jena and the Digi Tamja Giovanni, Geo Bottom by Chewacha, the Gimsan Gare, Labnada, Garichawas, Grasene, Miu di Garesene. Chedo Jawadi and the Semjan Tamjires, Chesan Namge Tadani big Semjan Tamje, Semjan Bauto Meba, Di Dunda, Disu Chasan, Sanyo Gopan Tubich, Sanje Salia Gobi Chirdu, and the Dombasuares. And the Topja, Sanji Toban, Semjan Tamje, Sanjo Gopan Toyada, Chedo Jawa, Semjan Tamji, Semjan Chikam, Tayeva Bauto Meba Jinsa, Kunzu Dunda, Chasan, Kunzu Chedu, some time. Just not some of the Massy Dombadi, Sonam Chimbo Shu Chago, just not. They are Anna Chigi Duji member, Semjan Tamja, San Magi Pardo, Sanye Masaki Podo, Chasanya, Sanyo Go Masaki Podo, Semdi, and Namia Manyamba, Mutuche, Tusin Yamlin Chigi, Sebigi, killing Jevanza, that is. Migba Semjing Chane in a Master Semjan Tayaba, Yachem, Dile Mahachi Mevare, Yachewachi Mevare. That Marched Miu Jebu, Sanjo Gobat, and then Sanji Dile Chewachi Mevare. Just not do you challenge Semjan Tamja Sangem, Sanji Salamago Badu, go Master Badu, do Dile Rimaje Mere. Just not that Miu Dudang, 유당 제보다 가래천에 삼다는 갸첨보 되는 삼다제 안 돈바도 소인자 돈바도 에마스 뉴버첨보다 소람침 지산 돈바 소와 디기텔에 안지다 주버sem게 sem게 냠는지도 개와 사바도 패와디 금센디리 해야지 디송도 하다 돈나디리도 와
Why is the making of the promise of engaging bodhicitta, why does this produce to lead to the production of so much merit? Well, when the bodhisattva is making the promise of associated with engaging bodhicitta, the promise is that I will lead each and every sentient being that is currently suffering in samsara, I will lead them to a state freed of suffering. In fact, to the state of their own individual enlightenment. And to do so, I have to become a Buddha. And to actually become a Buddha, I have to practice the 6 perfections, train my mind in the 6 perfections, just like all the Buddhas did, following their perfect example, and following the example of all the Bodhisattvas in the world. And I will do so until each and every being has been liberated from the suffering realms of samsara. So this is the vow that the Bodhisattva makes. This is engaging bodhicitta. This is the vow that is made. So in this vow, what is the object of their focus? Suffering sentient beings. Not just those that they are related to, not just those in their community, but each and every sentient being across all realms of samsara, each one, individually, without exception, I will help. What greater object is there than each and every suffering mother being? And then secondly, the goal is that of enlightenment. I will attain enlightenment in order to lead each and every suffering mother being to their own enlightenment. What greater goal is there than enlightenment itself? Then thirdly, the duration is that until samsara has been completely emptied of suffering beings, I will work for their welfare, each and every one without exception. So what greater duration is there than until samsara has been emptied of suffering mother beings? So because of these 3 reasons, that there is no greater object, which is all suffering beings, there is no greater goal, namely enlightenment, and there is no greater duration, in other words, until samsara has been emptied, this mind of engaging bodhicitta is incomparable. The strength of such mind is incomparable. And because of the strength of this mind of engaging bodhicitta being incomparable, the virtue that it accumulates, that too is incomparable.
ane denigi ane sunam gyachenpo de jungtang gada shunguriya sidwe da de sungya dene sungde ni lokam bame gyurjan sunam shuk gyumi chebar dumashik namka nyambar rabdu chungus.
Now we come to the 19th verse. From that moment on, whilst asleep or even inattentive, merit that is of great force, innumerable and uninterrupted, equal to the sky, comes forth.
제자다 데네기 선음 자치 모양한 간스 용거선 데네 송데라도 전주선비교 돈바 주버선 주비 돈바 송네서 돈바 송네 데네 송네다 송데 니로 니쿠되바이나야 개와사고레스 안에 밤에 세드 땅아 저기 지나 데네기 제모세다 두시네 바 참향 줘야다 데네 제모세비 내가 비네야 안에 고소레 선음 바텀에 바사고레스 중국어레스 지난 밤에 세드 남윤 밤에 세드가 셈 남이야처럼 마다지 셈 개위 초소 바 남이야 초소 마다 송아들라 바여봐서 우리 개위 삼다 데네기 밤에라도 양식 셈 남이야 다 제모다 데네기 털 남이야로 시대도 제서 밤에 책을 지난 밤에 세드 데네 제모라서 받아 데네기 남이야 갑이나야 안에 선음 바텀에 바 중국어레스 지나 밤에 치시에 니 로바 니 쿠드바나 겨바토메바 상그레스 니 쿠베나 상그레스 아나 밤에베 제모제바다 데니게 밤에 데니까블레네 디 쇠남 슉 규미체바 두마식세데 지제 규미체바 스남 사기레 가르치는 사기레라나 대시 주보 domba lembe di 슈기 뉴베디기 아네 니 로토바이나다 밤에 제모제베 내가서네 무드니는 스남 사고레스
So reading, so maybe I'll read the 18th verse, and then start with the 19th, because they flow into each other. From when this mind has been genuinely adopted to engaging bodhicitta, with the intent never to turn away from the aim of completely liberating endless realms of sentient beings, from that moment on. So from the moment that engaging, the vows of a bodhisattva, the engaging vows, have been taken from that moment on, due to the incredible strength of mind associated with this vow, with this promise, with this commitment, due to the strength of that mind, continuing in the verse, whilst asleep or even inattentive. So when the bodhisattva is asleep, or when they're inattentive, perhaps they're distracted through being with relaxing with friends or playing sport, even at times when they are inattentive or asleep, vast stores of merit is created. Why so? Due to the great force of the mind that has been initially generated with when the vow of the bodhisattvas was made, and that mind is maintained, it's undegenerated. Therefore, due to the strength of the mind of the bodhisattva, incredible stores of merit is accumulated even when asleep or inattentive.
남카데 탈바 디조 손살이야 지어 말고 같이도 좋아요 남카데 좋아요 남같이 해자 진짜 디나신 남카 나신 같이 뭐 같이 여봐 남카 같이 뭐 여봐는 내다 안냠바 데니게 계획이 같이 뭐 데니시 싸고 그래서 남카 안냠바 rab도 중스
Reading the last three lines together. Merit that is of great force, innumerable and uninterrupted, equal to the sky, comes forth. So this then poetically presents an image of the vastness of merit that is accumulated by this vast and powerful mind of engaging bodhicitta. Just like the sky is uninterrupted, it's so vast and expansive that it would be, the sky is uninterrupted, so too is this incredible mind of engaging bodhicitta. And due to its great force, the merits that are accumulated are innumerable.
다 되네 인자당 하는 지게 다 삼나는 하는 줄로 도박 가리고 알았으네. 다네 지게 주좀 렌 차네. 되네 안에 주좀 렌 차네. 안에 되네게 니쿠르드나 소남 같이 뭐 사고래. 안에 제모르자 밤에 제모 제베네 소남 같이 뭐 유미체바 남가다냐 바 같이 뭐 사고래스. 대시 휴사로와 안되네나 잔슈셈 주좀 말렘 바체 장슈스 몸바심게 계사제 몸바심게 귤려여되바이나 데네게 가사 니후네 소남 사고 마르베스 안데네게 장슈셈 바디 제모 밤에 제모제나 소남 사기 마르베스 사기 마르베스 마사바이나 안데 니후에 내가서 가사 디귤레 장슈셈 요로와 디게와르와스 안데 제모제베 내가서 밤에 제메제가 내서 장슈셈 요로와스 디게와르와스 디게와사기도 와스 진짜 데네게 안에 몸바심게 주도 말레마지 몸바심게 게되베네 니쿠베 내가서 사기도 밤에 가서 사기도 직번에도 왔으면 비게 삼능구로 왔다서.
Hearing this, I imagine some of you have the question, so how come it says that when the vows of engaging bodhicitta have been made, Virtue is accumulated even whilst asleep or inattentive. How can that be the case for engaging bodhicitta, but not aspiring bodhicitta? A bodhisattva who hasn't received the vows of engaging bodhicitta, but nevertheless has uncontrived bodhicitta on their continuum. How is it that they are said not to accumulate vast stores of merit whilst asleep or inattentive, but someone who has taken the vows does so?
이내 주버심게 나신이 개와 살고 말했어. 주버심게 도말렌서심게 개체셔 그랬어. 근데 고마 개다뭐 여바다 고마 찌리 니게 여바다 니게도 고 슈체로 와. 멤버심게서 때도 고마 개체 여바시. 죽돔 렌서베질라 멤버심게 셈게데 여바지 디가라 죽돔 되는 바 개여바자 고 니자차로 와. 개와 니차로 와. 제가 데네 인자 고 마와 여바 누가 채와 여바자 데니기 아니 니코와다 바면에서 개와 슈슈슈 사기리 세드 지다 몬바심게나 데니 개와 사고르디 이네 주버심게 나신 주돔 렌 세외 나심게 나신지 개와 사고 말 지다 주딘 렌 차반 빼마서 채와 사고르 그래서는 셈게 디가래 주비 돈바디 여봐 주비 돈바디 대시 셈젠 탐제 상요고마 토비치도 상제 대부 상교고방 최도제와 셈젠 탐제 안내지기 디엔 뉘기 전에나 뉘 상심제 상제 살라 그 마서이 봐도 무투제 디네 냠는지기 담자 켈린 돈바디 여봐서 돈바디 빼면서 쓰는 직 개와 개치 보신다 아니 디 대지몬 봤음기 냠는지기 유려 여마라와 제자다 주버심 냠는지기 여봐서 주버심기 냠는지기들라 뉘부채 사기래서 김전 디로와다.
The first point to make is that at no point should we deprecate any of these incredible virtuous minds. Whilst we should look to engaging bodhicitta as being our aspiration, we shouldn't thereby look down on aspiring bodhicitta. Because the generation of uncontrived bodhicitta is something quite remarkable and has such profound impact on oneself and all sentient beings. The second thing then to understand is we are in the context here of, firstly, through hearing the benefits of bodhicitta, generating the sincere yearning to do all we can to become bodhisattvas. And now, in this section that we came to last week, we are hearing about the difference between aspiring and engaging bodhicitta, so as, when we do become bodhisattvas, we immediately seek out the vows and make the promise of engaging bodhicitta. The way to understand this verse, then, in that context, is undoubtedly a bodhisattva, whether they've got aspiring or engaging bodhicitta, when they are asleep, they will accumulate virtue, vast amounts. When they are inattentive, they will accumulate vast amounts of virtue too. But the bodhisattva who has made the vows of a bodhisattva will accumulate far more, as opposed to the bodhisattva who hasn't made the vows. So, for example, if someone has $100 and someone has $200, with $200 you can do much more than you can do with $100. But $100 is a nothing. It's something that has value. So similarly, aspiring bodhicitta is a phenomenal mind, but compared to engaging bodhicitta, now that's the mind to strive for. And here again, in our context, we're learning that when we generate bodhicitta, to quickly make the vows of engaging bodhicitta.
전주심 게네 전주심이 저 바로 침발 라긴 심비게 켈렌 남자 제도 남자 진의 라비알로 고조도 닝도 불 마소나 시호지 캬버를 침바로와 제가 데네자 닝도 시호 캬버를 침바자 뉴발 마소나 시라 쳐 침바로와 완전 데네자 뉴발 쳐와데가 저는 손음 쳐사 두고로와 제가 손음 쳐사 그래서 내려오시는 제도와
as we strengthen our virtuous minds, there's a direct relationship between the strength of mind with which we engage in virtue and the amount of merit that is accumulated. The weaker the virtuous mind, the less virtue that is accumulated. So when one has generated uncontrived bodhicitta and is yet to receive the vows, one has aspiring bodhicitta and remarkable virtue is accumulated from this determination. I have to become a Buddha so as to lead all beings to a state freed of suffering. This is an incredible mind. But when the vow has been taken that I will engage in the six perfections, just like the Buddhas did, the Bodhisattvas are doing, I will do so from now until all sentient beings have attained enlightenment. Through the strength of that mind that makes that vow, that commitment, that promise, the virtue is that is from then accumulated is so much greater. And this again is due to the relationship between the strength of the virtuous mind and the amount of virtue or merit that is accumulated.
Diyo kurwe dunga le zhe tuya dang, ane tuya suyo ma re, dingi dewa top tuya dunga se tuya me ba re. Chazan da dingi dunga se dang, dingi digi zhubiya la, khonzu la kare go re se ne, khonzu ya, ane digi yu, zanggi goba toya yu, ane ge chi gewa sa chu go re se, jimba da zurin soba, zunze la soba, gewe nyamlen che chu go re se. Dine nyomo ba, kurwe dunga le zhuwa la, nyomo ba bango, nyomo pa ma la, nyomo be nyembo, 다음에 보도베 셰랍 콘솔라 파텐제 콘솔 냠수 렌조 두스 냠수 렌발레 테네 콘솔 코코유 동알을 조고 거레스 진짜 데네게 지금 냠수 콘솔야 지 데네게 탑람디 콘솔 팔랍제 콘솔야 텐제 콘솔 냠을 제주발라 소소 신고 거레스 가서 신고 거레스 지상 콘솔레 텐 신고 거레스 지상 텐나데야 뉴다 남바다 콘솔라 참비기 뉴가르지레 야가 가르티면 뉴 따다 하고 와다 내가 찾아하고 두스인 캠바지 고고래서 제가 소수용 원에 가세 땜바이나 땜 투예기 뉴버여바 찾아요고 데니게다 뉴버여바라 데니고자 안 데니게 소수용 마 땜바라야 코즈게 소수레 냐기 아니 지금 뉴버디 소수요고 코즈게 소수 왕도 뒤예기 디고고래서 제가 소수 셰 되는 분이 냥에 메네 셰네 되네 아니 배시요 말와 제가 소수기 파시도 콘수이 해요 뉴버디 나서 소소라서 그랬어. 디술로 열었으나 데니게 탑초도 규바 심전 콜위 동알을 탑초도 규보다 상계마도 민두스. 진짜 데니 인자 상계 고마 토고도 셈베게다 토베게 돈달라 심지게 잠시 심게 오래제. 다 잠시 심전 담 상계 고마 토고도 세베 잠시 심게 받으면 상계 고마 톱 투구르베서 투구 말해. 제산 잠시 심베게 주고 쪄봐 냠는 정신심비 돈바 땅에 정신심비 쪄봐 랍긴심비 켈린 남자 제제 정신심비 쪄봐 랍이야 고주제 두스 랍나 산기고바 톱투그레스 다 켈린 남자 맞아봐 있나 가브리엘에 고 켈린 메나 켈린 제니 무디제다 제기 근데 제할 그디나 제고야다 제다 니버체요 켈린 맞아봐는 가지고 켈린 메자 안에 가브리 맞아 용시로 와다 가지고 뒤로 와 가지고 지소 삼다나 징이 경화지 제와스면 켈린지 미지 로고 제로 제랍네 켈린제 사나 아니 그디나 홀로고 제고였으면 삼는 로고 제게 탭치 줘로 와다 켈린 맞아봐나 아니 가브리엘 로고 제시기를 맞아봐시기로 와다 니스로 와 디나진다 켈린 제제 돈보슈 켈린제 정신심이 줘발라 랍고 그래스 디네 랍니 냠는 제바나 딘 산지고 봐 뉴어 조가 톱투 그래 제가 디네사 산지고 봐도 셈전 콜위 둥알레 줘야게 탑람 산지고 봐 탑라 약쇼래 제가 산지고 봐 토바디 정신심 제고래 정신심 긴 토고 그래 정신심 제바즈니 지금 말에 정신심이 줘봐 바로 지글레 랍고 그래 딜라비알라 돈보 송제 랍바나 디네 라야레 뉴버 쳐고 제가 켈린제다 돈보 송제 랍고 딜라바나 산지고 봐 토라 타 얘기를 제가 두스에는 냠는 지 고고래 해야 돼 안쪽에다 셈진 콜위 둥알레 줘야게 탑람라 안저 냠는 두스 제고래 해서 삼로 데니스 땅고래 해야지 삼로 두스는 공고래 해서 송고를 당하도 두스
When we cultivating love and compassion and generating the wish to be of benefit to others, the thought will come, how can I help them? How can I ease the suffering of others? How can I help them achieve more happiness? Well, right now, all we mainly can do is help others materially, maybe giving food to the hungry, helping the homeless. So there are many material ways we can and should help others. But we also know the limitations of such help. Such help, whilst required and good to engage in, is very limited. It cannot on its own lead to the attainment of lasting happiness. How can we then help beings to achieve lasting happiness? Well, what beings, suffering mother beings, require is the same as what we're trying to do right now. They need to be encouraged by a skillful teacher to first identify what the causes are for happiness, and thereafter how to cultivate those causes, and then to encourage them to do so continuously. And accompanying that, sentient beings require a skillful teacher to guide them to identify the causes of suffering, and to and thereafter to recognize the antidote to suffering, and thirdly, to train them in how to cultivate the antidote of the wisdom realizing emptiness and encourage them to do so. This is what sentient beings require. This is what sentient beings require, because this is the path to lasting happiness. So what sentient beings require is to embark on the same journey we are embarking on. But also we know from our own lived experience that even when we give excellent advice to others, that advice often isn't taken up. And that may leave us feeling a bit frustrated, a bit disappointed. But the reality is, or the truth of the situation is, because of the own limitations in our own mind, we are not able to present the ideal advice for that person in the way at the time that they can receive it. We just do not know what is the most suitable advice that that person can receive at that time, and in which particular way. So we have those limitations in our own mind. Recognizing this, and with our knowledge of the Buddha Dharma, we see the need to become Buddhas ourselves, because as we spiritually develop, these obscurations slowly are removed. Then our wisdom can shine through ever more, and we can give more appropriate advice to the individual person at a particular time in their spiritual development. So this then serves to encourage us to transform our own minds, so that we can be of ever greater benefit to others right now and throughout our spiritual journey to the attainment of our own enlightenment. Moreover, another impediment to us being able to help others is the way they perceive us. Their limited trust in us. We haven't yet earned it because of our own limited spiritual development. So here, for us to be able to help others in an ideal way, we need to have a transformed mind so that we are truly worthy of others placing their trust in us, that we are reliable, we are stable, our advice is reliable as well. So therefore, we need to spiritually develop so that we can be a guide to others, because this is what others need. They require someone that they can rely on, and that person being reliable, and who then can guide them how to develop the causes for happiness and abandon the causes that would otherwise lead to suffering, and apply the antidote to suffering, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And moreover, we also know from our own life, when we are engaging with others and we're having some impact, that impact maybe doesn't last beyond the conversation. But if in that conversation the person buys into what we say, they agree with what we say, and they commit, they promise to acting in accordance with what they now see as important, we know it's much more likely they'll follow through and their life will transform. There's a power to making a sincere promise, to making a vow. So too, in our own spiritual development, where we take vows, this is a stable, strong mind and leads to so much more merit accumulated. And as we spiritually develop, we will become worthy of encouraging, or we will become skilled in guiding others to make vows themselves. These vows are to transform themselves for the sake of others. So to be able to do that, we have to be a lived example of the path, and therefore take these trainings that we receive and apply them to our own minds, becoming a suitable illustration of the teachings of the Buddha. So thank you very much. Then we'll conclude there for tonight. Thank you.